Welcome back to Strictly Business. I'm Nancy Carlson, and today we are at Topa Tavern and Grill here in the Elk Grove Town Center, and I'm talking with Tony and Paul. Welcome to Strictly Business.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Now, I know a little bit. I know you two are brothers,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, I know more than that, but that's where I'm going to start.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us how each of you got in the business?
Well, I think for both of us, it kind of starts out, my parents had a restaurant when we were children, and it was in the back of the yards area. It was a kind of like a diner kind of place, and we spent all our free time in that restaurant away from school. And my grandfather was a bartender. My mom ran the restaurant, paid the bills, took care of Tony and I. Grandmother worked as a host sometimes. Uncles worked there, and it was kind of a place where we just kind of grew up. So when you say you're like born into it, it's kind of like how we were. And
I didn't have a baby crib. My mom kept me in the cedar filing cabinet. That was my crib. And it was close enough actually to the kitchen where if I started crying, the head chef would call the front desk
And say, Tony's crying.
Boss lady, your baby's crying, so you have to go back and take care of me and give me a
And
bottle
this is
or whatever.
Tony and this is Paul. I neglected to say that. So it was like your home,
Yeah.
away
was.
from home. I mean,
It
you probably
was.
spent more time in the restaurant than you did at home. But when you were at home, you were probably sleeping and didn't
In
realize you
school
were.
and-
Yeah.
it wasn't it was fun as a child, but it wasn't like the ideal childhood. It wasn't like,
No.
we got to go play baseball and goof around all
Right.
summer long. It was summertime, we were usually at the restaurant or our grandparents' house, so
right.
it was different.
Sure.
A little different.
Now, how old were you when you actually started helping? I mean, did they put you to work when you were kind of little, cutting up things, or no, you were just there? And you had to kind of entertain yourself?
Maybe in our minds we helped out, but probably really got in the way.
I remember busting tables.
Yeah.
I think I could barely look over the table, and I could barely reach the stuff on the table. But I know a lot of the customers got a kick out of it. And they'd give me some change or give me $1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I did a lot more rummaging through the kitchen and eating things. I made all sorts of little snacks out of. I mean, I'd raid the rice pudding containers, and I'd make little saltine cracker sandwiches with the
So
butter
you were
patties.
cooking when you were just 4 years old,
Yeah,
probably.
putting stuff together, and I'd get, and as I do now, I get into these like almost like flavor addictions. I mean,
So that was in the back of the yards, and then you moved. When did you come to Elk Grove? That was a long time after that, right?
yeah, that
Oh,
was,
yeah.
that was 25 years after that. Our father is part owner in the Rosewood restaurant.
Okay, in Rosemont.
And that was basically, besides Cafe Chicago, which was our parents' first restaurant, that was where Paul and I actually really got into the restaurant business, where I got into cooking, he got into wine, he got into service in front of the house and managing, and it was a great catalyst for us to go and do other things,
right.
to work at other restaurants. But that was the beginning for us.
It's kind of neat that it just happened that you liked to cook and you were more in the management side of it and into the wine. I mean, if you had both liked to cook, you probably would have gotten into each other's way. But here
Probably.
and it's nice that it just happened that way, because then it's the perfect balance for running a restaurant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we've been very fortunate because we've been friends our whole life. I mean, he's my best friend, and he knows that. And he's always been a very nurturing older brother. He wouldn't let anyone else beat me, but he would beat me. As an older brother does. Their little
Take it easy. Take it easy.
He had to point out that you were the older brother.
Yes.
And then I can still beat him. Did he mention that? Did he mention that part?
Yeah. But I think it's been a great dynamic between us because we both respect each other. We both respect each other's opinions and each other's abilities in what we do here. And I don't put out a dish unless I get his approval, because
Right.
This is our restaurant and we're doing this together. So I want him to be as much of the food as
Well, it would be impossible, I would imagine, if that weren't the case.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be, maybe not impossible, but it would certainly be not very much fun if you were trying to do this and didn't really like each other.
Right.
So you came to Elk Grove when? How long have you been here?
The first time, well, we opened in October of '07.
Okay,
But
so-
we first saw this location in, I think it was December of '05. That was the first time we laid eyes on it, and at the time we had a couple other locations in mind, and we were kind of weighing the pros and cons of the locations and this and that, and when we came here, it was just,
That was
I
it.
think we all felt very comfortable about what this area offered, as far as being so close to the municipal buildings and visibility on both sides of the restaurant, and I mean, this is the main part of Elk Grove.
It's downtown Elk Grove.
Exactly, exactly.
Right.
And the space is it's beautiful. You know, we had a lot to work with, but we have beautiful private rooms, and we have a beautiful kitchen, and our bar area is nice and big, and so.
Well, I can tell you that the municipality and the community was very excited when we heard you were coming. I mean, this restaurant had been kind of a cornerstone of this town center when we opened it, and then it was vacant for so long, and everyone was asking, what's going in there, what's going in there, and when we could finally say, you know, and I've heard all wonderful things. So
Good.
You're glad to be here, and we're very glad to have you here.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So what are your hours here? You're open,
Open for lunch every day, Monday through Friday.
okay.
On the weekends, we're only open during the day for private parties. We do anything from somewhere in the 20s to the 80s for parties on the weekends. And then for dinner, we're open every day starting at 4 o'clock, and we serve, on Monday we serve, Sunday, Monday we serve till about 9, 10, and then the rest of the week it gets a little bit later, mostly about 10, 10:30 though.
Do you have any idea where people are coming from, who your customers are? I mean, primarily Elk Grove residents, and do you know?
I would say primarily it's Elk Grove residents,
right.
but we've been able to, through the advertising that we've been trying to roll out and things like that, there's been a lot of people that are coming from not just Elk Grove, but Wooddale and Itasca, Arlington Heights, some people from Schaumburg.
Right.
So it's been overall very supported from,
Yeah, and I
from all
think
the
the
communities.
word, you know, it takes a while for the word to get out.
Right.
It's the ripple effect,
Yeah,
you know, and we're
right.
seeing that when we first opened, there was a lot of Elk Grove people coming, and they would bring their friends from surrounding
Right.
neighborhoods, and now their friends are coming.